Hey YouTubers, it's me, Lonnie Clark, Nuts for Art. I'm just gonna look right at the laptop, not at the camera, because I think my eye goes too stray. So sorry about that. Anyways, hi you guys. I think I'm gonna be making a video once a week, and just to kind of summarize like my thoughts and feelings, my thoughts and prayers for the week. So you guys, I went out to the Salem, the March for Our Lives Salem protest today. And do you remember, those of you, the few of you that have known me for a long while, know that I've carried all kinds of signs and made really big signs, which are a pain in the neck to carry around like a long time. So guess what I did this time? It worked out so well though. These are like little rubber mat things. I lined my garage with them so that my grandkids could play in there, so we have a place to play. And I had spare ones. So I attached them to some spare curtain rods. And this is a spare pair of curtains because I didn't want this hideous plastic against my body. So I taped it to the back, you can see, with painter's tape that I bought from the dollar store. But you know what, it worked really great. Like, it mostly stuck. It started to come apart here because I actually last minute pulled apart and stuck that ribbon in there, so that one doesn't work. But the other side works great. See the bottom? It stuck really great. And let me show you what the sign says. The demand is GOP. Work with Dems to pass gun reform. That's what one side said. And then the other side, because I wore it like a sandwich board kind of a thing. And then GOP pass red flag laws. That means, like, if you've got something that means you shouldn't be having a gun, like you threatened your ex-wife or something like that, you shouldn't have a gun. Expand background checks and increase age to 21. If we could just get this would be a big win, you guys. So we don't have to have like the AR-15. There's 20 million AR-15s. 20 million, just that one weapon, not all assault weapons, in the hands of 3% of the people. So it is the weapon of choice, right? Because unfortunately, 99% of all gun owners of even assault weapons, 99%, are sound, reasonable, healthy people. But having them accessible to people who might nut up, that's the issue, right? But if we could just get these red flag laws, expand background checks, increase age to 21, because many of the mass murders are done by 18 to 21 year olds. So, and that's because their frontal cortex, like, it's just human development. To be honest, the age limit should be 25 for men, 21 for women, because that's when your frontal cortex is pretty much gelled. That's when you can reason and you're not making irrational decisions. Like, oh, I have to kill myself, or I have to kill them because I need to. Like, that's all irrational. So, and I wore it like this. People thought it was so funny, but it was kind of cute. Hold on, I'll stand up. I'll put it on for you, actually. I'll show you. Hello. See, I put rubber bands on it. Dang, I have put a pillow here. Let me get the pillow out. See, I wore it like this. I mean, that is the really great part about getting older, is you really don't give a crap what people think of you anymore. So that's the good part. And it worked out so well. I didn't have to carry hardly any weight. We walked like 5 or 10 blocks. I actually carried some things that I printed out. It was a copy of someone's protest sign that said, stop making buying an AR-15 easier than getting a dog, adopting a dog, which is exactly the truth. And I thought I'd share this with you. Dun, 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 dun. I bought a waterproof megaphone for this girl Paisley to use. And I actually been sitting here blowing away, and my grandson put on it, and I thought, shit, we haven't even washed it. I just let her blow in it all afternoon. So I guess we're not afraid of the you know what. Because I'm still not. Hey guys, this is what we used. And it worked quite well. She was totally delighted. It helped her control the crowd. She marched just like up. We're in Salem, Oregon, and so basically downtown is old town, little small town, right? And so we walked with about 200 people that showed up. There was people taking trying to get signatures for a ballot measured for something to be on the ballot in November to actually ban AR-15s or to make them difficult. Like, it's not total ban, but you have to jump through hoops to get them. And you can have them. And most gun owners passed the test already. So this is kind of an easy one. So it's getting lots of signatures, lots of support. It's just the common sense gun laws that we're talking about. So we're trying to get it on the ballot, and I think it needs 150,000. So this woman was out there, and she counted. She said she came up to us and told us there was 200 people. So that was interesting. It was fun. And Paisley was quite grateful for the help. She got interviewed because of the press releases and the few contacts I made. I mean, I have to say it was very few, but I did rattle some cages about showing some support. I mean, adults need to show up for these people, and guess what? That's who mostly showed up. Adults. The same old people that turn out for the anti-nuclear shit. Almost identical, the same crowd. Even in Salem. I've been to anti-nuclear stuff up in Salem. It's the same people. Like, Lord. Well, you know what? It's kind of like, I heard this. It's like when you're playing an instrument or playing long term in a choir, right? Some people hold the breath while others take a break. So I guess, you know, when it's going to come their time, like when they decide, like, honestly, you know, you guys, I unregistered as a Democrat in January of 21 when Nancy Pelosi sabotaged the second impeachment of Donald Trump. It was because of Nancy Pelosi that we are having traitors right now in our government. This whole thing, biting our fingernails, are we going to have these people arrested? Is there going to be accountability? Are the Republicans going to take back our country? Blah, 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 blah. All of that is because of Nancy Pelosi. All of it. I lay all of this on her feet. And you know what that does to me in the Democratic Party? Persona non grata, man. You have to kiss the ring of the queen if you want to be part of the Democrats. Let me tell you what. That's just the way it is. But fuck her. So I just decided, you know what? After I unregistered and I became an independent. And so, like, during the primaries, I didn't have anybody to vote for, really. My ballot was just one page. It didn't matter because they weren't going to win. None of the independents are going to win. You know, it's a blue state. So the hardcore Republican areas are going to stay Republican, but most of it is a blue state. So it's like, it's red out in the rural. If you look at geographically, the red is a lot. But there's nobody that lives in the red, right? It's very few people. So where the people live in Oregon, it's blue because Oregon is a reasonable state. Like Oregon, in our Constitution of Oregon, I'm a new person to Oregon. I came here 18 years ago now. The Constitution of Oregon guarantees the right to clean air in our Constitution and a clean environment. That is so rare in constitutions, state constitutions. It helps us fight the environmental fight. That's why Oregon is clean, because it's in our Constitution. So if you're living like in Utah, let's just say Utah, Salt Lake City, let's say you live in Salt Lake City, and you want to demand like the right to clean water, and they clean up all the uranium mines all over the place that they have bleeding on all of the, you know, godforsaken native lands. That's honestly what happened. Try to get that passed so that they have to do it. You have to get it into the Constitution of the charter of the city. Like, you have to get the city to adopt that we want to have a clean environment, and then you have to get the state to adopt the city's thing. Like you have to change, if you want it for the whole state, you have to change the whole state's constitution, because we don't have, every state has its own rules, which is, you know, we had the first democracy. And honestly, this is my thing. Like, this is why I want to do YouTube videos at least once. Our youth, the people that are now new voters, did not get an education in basic civics. They have no idea how Constitution works, ours, or any other constitution. They have a vague idea if they've self-studied. But there's been no, I mean, George Bush took civics out of high school. That's what people need to understand. Fuck CRT and, you know, all that other stuff. They're not doing any of that. Like, that's for, like, law school, CRT. I mean, and in fact, educated people need to learn about critical race theory, because it is part of our history that we have embedded white supremacy in our system. That's in fact exactly what the whole gunfight is about. And in fact, today I didn't plan on speaking, but you know, Paisley's up there talking about, we're going to demand the government because the government isn't doing it. No, it's not the government. It is the GOP who is putting profits over people. Period. That's it. I'm not saying the Democrats are perfect. In fact, you guys know me, I don't really like the Democrats. But we need to circle the wagons, because honestly, if we allow, if we don't get everybody that we know to vote D straight down the line, and stop the fascists who have embedded themselves in every line of government at every level, it is important that we get all the voters out to vote all the way down the ticket, not just your congressman, which is coming up, or your senator, which is coming up. We don't have a presidential. So this is the thing. We don't even have civics classes to explain what is necessary to the youth to get the vote out. They ain't listening to fucking Joe Rogan. Like, honest to God, Joe Rogan is their mentor. Jordan Peterson from fucking Canada. Fucking confused as all get out. Like, I don't want to cuss too much because I think that gets blocked out. But honestly, this is why I need to come and do this YouTube, because I think that, you know, someone commented and it really hurt my feelings. One of my longest subscribers, it keeps changing her name. I think it's 7 or something like that. I remember seeing it quickly. But she said, nobody cares. Well, I think people care. I actually think people care. I think people care a lot. I think people feel like useless. Like, what's the point? They care, but at a certain point, this is what the Republicans, this is why they are a united front, because they are abusers. They're all abusers. They know they can break you down. That's why I say happiness is resistance. You know, love is greater than fear, because honestly, they want to break us down so that we're like, oh, democracy doesn't work, so maybe we do need a strong man to make all the decisions, and let them make the decisions. Go right ahead. Journalists disappear. People get raped. I mean, it is bad. Non-democratic states are no fun, you guys, and women have no rights. That's the first thing they do, is shut the traps up of the women. So our democracy is worth fighting for, and it's about educating people. Get the Constitution, read it. It's not very big. It's a small little book. Rely on it. I mean, look at the laws. They're not hard to understand. And there's this whole sovereign citizen bullshit. You know who started that? The whole Koch brothers. What's their dad? What was it used to be called? What the fuck? Excuse my language. Oh my God, the John Birch Society. It's essentially it. The John Birch Society. So they're all at it. They've been doing it for fucking well over 100 years, man. I think I'm cussing way too much. I wonder if they're going to like bang me on YouTube. I've heard you can't cuss or something like that. But anyways, I'm going to leave it. If they'll give me a strike, they give me a strike. But I get it. I get it that we think people don't care, but, and actually, maybe you're right. Maybe they don't care. But have they ever cared? Like, honestly, like the people that care are going to care. There's probably a smaller portion of humanity that actually really does care. You know, and I guess that's what makes the world go round, right? Like, that's how it works. And honestly, between me and you, I kind of like, I don't think it's conspiracy to say that we're probably not going to have humans in 100 years. As much as I love my grandchild, you know, she's learning about horses. She wants to grow up and deal with, good thing she wants to deal with horses, because we may not have cars. And hopefully there'll still be horses. Like, honest to God, like that's where we're at. You know, Guy McPherson says, what, 2030 at the max? So we're at 2023. He thinks by 2025 we're going to hit a full-scale wall crisis, and the water within 3 years is going to become an issue. So, I don't know enough about it. Sure sounds like he knows what he's talking about, though. So, we don't have time to just wait for the Republicans to just get a civil war going among Americans over weapons. It's outrageous. We don't need to have a civil war over weapons. Like, that's what we're fighting about? Like, honestly? They want to maintain power at all costs. They refuse to acknowledge that the courts said Donald Trump lost, so they're continuing their ongoing coup because they're going to install their dictator in our country. That's essentially where they are. It's Kevin McCarthy, because he's, you know, he's as guilty as any of them. He's not a this is why I fucking hate Nancy Pelosi. This is exactly it. Nancy Pelosi knows it all. They know it all. We're putting the pieces together and seeing how big it is, because they've tried to withhold the information and allowing the fucking traitors to embed themselves deeper in our government, which basically edifies their position to the people who are uneducated intentionally because they stopped educating people about how the government works. I mean, honestly, and Pelosi is our leader, Chuck Schumer is our leaders. But you know what? We have to vote D to really stop the fascists. And then we get the fucking Democrats out. We get out Nancy Pelosi. I mean, Shahid is running against her. We should, you know, back Shahid right now. That's really the best way to do it, is get her out. You know, back Shahid running in against her. You know, even if he lost this last time, I guarantee you, I don't think he's going to quit. Because she's not quitting. She's going to go down with the ship, for God's sakes. So, I don't know. And no, they're not just all the same. The Republicans and the Democrats are not the same. I don't even fucking want to hear that bullshit. They're not the same. Republicans do not believe that women have the right to their own personal autonomy with their bodies. At all. And they don't give a damn about babies at all. They don't fund schools. They don't fund teachers. They don't fund college. You know what they do fund? Guns, war, prisons, cops. So no, they're not the same. They are not the same. The reason that a lot of people are in the Democratic Party is there's no place to go. There is no place to go. The Democrats are the only people going, hey, let's help our schools. Let's get the roads built. Let's go do this. There is no other place. We had those hearings this week. That was hilarious. Like, yeah, that was really great. His little speech was perfect. Enemies foreign and within. Duh! Fucking year and a half too late, fucking Benny Thompson. Like, for fuck's sake, you're slower than goddamn molasses. God dang, guys. That's why. They think they did great. The news consensus among the Democratic side is that it's they knocked it out of the park, and now we understand why, because they have to break it down for the dumb people. Like, fuck you. Like, for real. They should have had this live. Every single witness ought to have been on the fucking TV every day. We should have done this like live television from the get-go, from January 20th first on, from the day after Biden was sworn in. They should have had fucking hearings, hauled Bill Barr, all of them in front of the fucking television, not allow them to be videotaped, and then we get to see whatever little fucking snippets they want to like clip in to tell us their narrative. Fuck you. It's so worse than they are even telling us. They're gonna unload us on us slow while they're feeding the fuel to our neighbors about Joe Biden is not the president and a fake Joe Biden is up there, and you know they know how to do all kinds of things, and so that guy, the real Joe Biden, has really dementia and can barely talk and barely move. Like, rational people say this to me. We are at a precipice in our country where the Democrats need to get off of themselves. They are so full of themselves, it's unbelievable. But they are all we got, folks. Because if we don't get the vote out to keep the Democrats in and give them a greater majority, it is authoritarianism 2.0, Pinochet 2.0, folks. I am not kidding you. And it may not be Trump. They got plenty of really bad dudes in the GOP who love to fry people and torture them. So I am not joking. Have you guys ever read Starhawk? You know, what's that book that she wrote? God dang, I can't remember it. It's about the future, where it's basically us hiding out in the hills from the fucking military who takes us off to death camps. And, like, it's just, seriously, that's where we're headed. Anyways, I see I'm headed to 25 minutes again. I'm not going to edit this, and you know, my analytics say I get maybe 15, 20 minutes in. I don't know if people come back and watch the rest of it, bits and bobs of it, and finish it off all at once, because me ranting and raving probably pretty hard to take. But I appreciate you listening. Thank you. And I think I'm going to come back once a week and make a video, kind of recap my feelings about all this stuff, because these fucking Democrats, man, they just, they played the game well played, because we have to vote for them. I mean, it really is the best of the worst bad apple, folks, and if we pick the worst apple, it's the poison pill, it's the poison apple. At least with the Democrats, if we lean in, there's enough people that are good still. And if we lean in, we can get the rats out from the 50s, the 60s. All the friends that, you know, Joe Biden, honest to God, if Joe Biden calls Mitch McConnell a good guy one more time, I think I'm just going to literally start spitting nails. Mitch McConnell is not a good guy, Mr. President. He is not. Mitch McConnell is why our country is in serious harm to this day. He refused to stop Donald J. Trump twice. So no, he's not a good guy. He's an un-American traitor to our country. He earned the title Moscow Mitch. His wife is connected to the Chinese Communist Party shipping line and worked for the Department of Transportation under Donald Trump. So don't tell me they are good people. I'm getting all worked up. Boy, that got me mad. I make myself mad. This is why I have long videos. But I love the few people that come and listen to me and give me feedback and talk to me, because I can't really talk to my kids about this at all. I don't have anybody that I can confide in or talk to. So it's my audience of 5, which I really appreciate. Thank you. But, like and share, as they say. If you like some of my opinions and you want to see this channel grow, share it and give it a like so that the algorithms will like it. You know what I mean? But I'll see you next Sunday. I think that's what I'm going to do, is like every Sunday try to put out like a video. It's going to be a long video. To be honest, you know why? I like long videos. I prefer when the people that I subscribe to, especially people with opinions, because that's what my channel is. My channel is like opinions. This is all my opinions. Like, I'm not an expert in not much except at my work. Work, I know, but everything else, if you knew my personal life, which many of you have followed me a long time, know a lot about, I'm definitely not an expert. And I've been held wrong on lots of the opinions that I've held, and I've done like said stupid stuff just like a lot of people. That's why I'm compassionate. That's why I don't, like, I give people a long rope, and if you harm me or mean harm to me, then I cut the rope, and I don't wish you ill. I just like can't have people around who don't like lift the boat, or I mean, I kind of like to think about life as like life jackets, right? So if you're willing to send me a life jacket and a life rope, and we hold each other up, like, now that's the kind of unity I want. I want people, we hold each other up and praise each other and build each other up and release the negativity and just go forward. Because even in the light of honest, true destruction and political corruption and blah, 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 everything else that's happening, the plague, I mean, we've had everything, right? Guess what? There's a lot of beautiful things to love about life still every day. Like, we can figure out something to really appreciate and love. And just the fact that we get to have our lives and see each other, and like even this unique little venue where I get to yap on as long as I want. So I think it's awesome. So I really appreciate all of it, to be honest. The more, I guess, the more, what do I say? The more, not isolated, but sort of the more independent I become in my own thinking and self about it all. Like, the longer the rope, like, it's really about the 4 agreements, right? Don't make assumptions, don't take it personally, do your best, and be true to your word, right? So if you do that, it becomes a lot easier, even if things aren't so easy. All the other stuff isn't so easy. So the protest, March for Our Lives, think it'll impact the GOP? You know what's going to happen is we have to vote them out, and then we'll get reasonable gun reform. So please do all you can to get out the vote, you guys. I beg you. Convince people to go D in 22. Even if you fucking hate them, still vote for the Democrats, because we can't let the Republicans get in our school boards. They're banning books, folks. They're harming kids. They've passed ridiculous laws, homophobic laws. Like, we want to examine your child's private parts to make sure that they're female to be in our squad. Like, what? No. So we got to get these people out of office in every state. So I'll end here. Ciao, you guys. Thanks for joining me. Subscribe, like, and see you later.